American and Canadian national anthems. So here at the Forum in Montreal, well over 16,000 fans, perhaps close to 17,000, to watch this game tonight. As you see a man who, looking back to last March, you'd have to say is lucky to be playing, Clint Malarchuk, after that throat slash, 2-2-0 on the year. Goals against average of 3.88. Here's one of the lowest in the league.
Well, the Canadiens might be in a transitional stage, but nothing has changed in goal. Patrick Roy, that average is not a misprint. 1.99 goals against his 10th game of the season.
Dan Marawelli, the referee, Gord Brossiger and Gerard Gauthier are the linesmen tonight. Housley and Anderson, the defense for the Sabres, Turgeon, Foligno, and Andreychuk. And for the Canadiens, Courtnall, Carbonneau, and Walter, with Ludwig and Chelios in back. So the two co-captains are starting on the lineup tonight for the Canadiens. This one dumped in for Craig Ludwig to go back and get. And we have an icing call just 21 seconds after we start this till we stop.
Buffalo Sabres tried a little breakaway move there with Housley going back in deep to pick it up. Number 77, Turgeon, was in behind the Montreal defense, in behind everybody except Craig Ludwig. And there's a guy that's trying to get his game going, and he hopes that the return of D. Carbonneau will mean that he will start scoring. The first look was Russ Courtnall. He'll wear number 6 for the Canadiens tonight. D. Carbonneau returned to the lineup after missing 8 games. He returned on October the 25th. Courtnall needs Carbonneau. They're a real good 1-2 combination.
Walter remains as the other winger on that line as Andreychuk guided it back out, and here's Chelios just hammering it off of Foligno and back in. Bill Housley around to get it. Flips one that is gloved along the rail by Courtnall, trying to jam it loose as Sean Anderson, and does. Trickles onto Andreychuk, and he just bounces it back down. Craig Ludwig out of Eagle River. No, it's not too Eagle. I was there this summer. Eagle River, Wisconsin. Playing this one back across to Chelios, another American-born defenseman, and the tap comes out now to Courtnall. It is Courtnall bringing it on, sized up by Housley, and he swung it wide. Rebound off the lively boards, hammered away to the corner by Ramsey. And it's Foligno checked off, and so Turgeon sets it up now for the carry by Bill Housley. Housley finesses, takes a look, and dumps one back off. That'll be picked up off an empty wing by Carbonneau. Carbonneau with a pass ahead to Chelios, then along to Courtnall, crisply on to Carbonneau. Carbonneau centers, nothing but blue and gold there, but it's followed up by Chelios, cross-bodied and then given a shove by Foligno as the puck laid all the way back down the ice. Once again, there'll be an icing call against the Sabres. With a minute and a half gone in the first period, no shots on goal and thus no goal.
Rick Dudley carries around a pad. It's bigger than everybody else's notebook. He wins the award for having the biggest piece of paper in his hand. He's got a legal pad. He's also got some injuries and some key ones. Back in the point, Doug Bodger is hurt for the Sabres, so that hurts their power play. Benoit Hogue is out with an injury, and John Tucker, Ray Shepard, and Larry Playfair are just scratches. For the Montreal Canadiens, 3 healthy scratches and a bunch of injuries. We'll tell you about those in a minute, including Bob Lemieux's abdominal surgery yesterday.
Puck turned back ahead, and Andreychuk has it for the Sabres. Andreychuk just flies one around that goes by Roy, and back along it is Mark Peterson trying to work it further, but it comes back to Lume. And J.J. Daigneault, the one-time player in Canuck, back to Lume. Tried to work it to Peterson, but it's pulled away, and here comes Daigneault flying up the wing. Daigneault cranks one, and it's 6-8. They come out for a rebound, and Peterson couldn't find it. Puck dumped off, and Ramsey drives it back further. Everyone looking for it, and it finally comes down near Daigneault. Tapped away by Roy. Where was that? I was looking for it too, and I don't know that our cameras even saw it. Players all over were looking as Mogilny starts in. But that pass came right back to Gilchrist. Gilchrist for the Canadiens pass out. Ledyard tries to steer it back along. Jurge Lume controlling, but it is bounced away by Peterson. The puck pops into the seat. So again, we get a halt for the action. Ruuttu, a part of the international cast here, leading the NHL in U's right now. Before, he's been up in the lead in points in past years, too.
He could lend the vowel to Tony Perkins of the St. Louis Blues.
We ever establish if Jeff Chychrun technically has a vowel?
He has a U.
He's got a U and then a bunch of Y's and other things in there, too.
And his name is an anagram for Crunchy. He just has to jumble the letters a little bit. And he plays Crunchy.
Well, Stan Spiel could borrow one, too. Here is Svoboda. Pursued by Vaive, and the puck taken now by Lefebvre, and Lefebvre goes down on the lean of Rick Vaive. Sabres tried to work one in front, but can't. Brought back up by Sloboda, headman pass on to Naslund. Naslund a shot, stick save, made by Malarchuk, good check. Applied back there on the defense for the Sabres by Grant Ledyard, and that frees it for the Sabres to bring it back, and Vaive wanted to work a pass to Mogilny, cut off by Sloboda, and advanced back up ice. Here's Bobby Smith on the wing to Naslund, fires again, score!
Well, the Montreal Canadiens have been having trouble scoring goals this year. They came into tonight's game ranking 15th in offense. Boy, oh boy, you could have fooled me, and I'm sure everybody else. The Canadiens have been firing the puck, going wide and getting good opportunities early in this game on Malarchuk. And you know, Clint came out and set up for this shot and was in pretty good position. That just overpowered the bottom part of Malarchuk's stick and got right under him. Naslund, only his third goal of the season. A lot of people think that Naslund is already mentally in Sweden, where he has announced he will be next season. This continues to be Naslund's last year in the National Hockey League, but that was sure a goal that would contradict that theory that his mind is in Sweden. What a great shot.
So closely is his performance linked to that of his line mate Bobby Smith that we also have another combination that is just freshly getting back together from injury, as Smith has been out. Smith and Naslund, the combination that was involved in that goal. We'll get the official scoring of it for you in a moment, but meanwhile, the puck passed by Corson all the way down, set up by Malarchuk and taken by Phil Housley. Moves right out in front of his own cage and passes back up the wing to Rob Ray. Ray just wiped off on the play, and coming back to take this one, Sean Anderson hands back across to Housley. Smith and Mike Keane got the assist on Naslund's goal, his third at 2:59. Canadiens strike early here and lead the game 1-0. They've outshot the Sabres 3-1. This one tapped along for Chelios, and he chops one further that is followed up and brought on by Anderson now. Across to Arniel, and he fires one, but it caught Anderson in offside. 16 minutes and a second to go here in the opening period of our game tonight from the fourth.
This is the key to building muscle after 40.
Neutral ice faceoff to result here, and Pierre Turgeon will be out to take this draw opposite Guy Carbonneau. Turgeon with Andreychuk on the left and Mike Foligno on the right.
Turgeon really has a couple of good veterans on either side of him, and that might have been something that he needed when he was 18. He doesn't need it as much now, but it doesn't really matter. It's clicking, you know. Turgeon is still only 20 years old, turned in August. This is his third year. He has gotten a little bit better every year. A lot of pressure when you're the #1 pick overall, and that was the case for Turgeon in 1987, but he has worked hard at it. He's a dedicated young athlete, and I think he's going to be a superstar this league.
Boy, I would think there'd be pressure, too, when you have a brother in the league who has some pretty impressive numbers, although the more impressive numbers for Sly have come with New Jersey this year. Quick starts for a lot of players in the NHL, but Sylvain Turgeon one of them. As his brother Pierre goes to the corner, locked up on the checking of Carbonneau. Foligno in to try to dig it out. Turgeon able to step away behind. Tries to get one out front. Quick shot! It's knocked down by Waugh, but no matter, there'll be a penalty coming out.
The Sabres are looking around to see who the call is against. I'm looking as well. I think it might be against the Sabres. Is that possible? It looked like the puck was on one of the Sabres' sticks. Let's see. Foligno goes to the front. Andreychuk is in front.
Yeah, it was all Sabres. There was. Yeah, Turgeon is going in.
You know what? When Turgeon was coming around the net, he had to be holding the defender's stick. Who was it that was following him around? But Turgeon was able to move his way around in front. It's holding, isn't it?
Yeah.
He wasn't holding anybody's body. It had to be a stick hold.
You know, that's a call you don't see too often. They've tightened up a lot more, yeah, especially on the attack like that.
I've never seen one with the guy on the attack trying to hook around the net being called for holding.
I think that legal pad has to now go on record as surpassing Bob Johnson's stenographer's notebooks that he had in his file for many years that he used to keep falling out. I guess he patented that too. Eventually was selling the notebooks in Calgary. Whatever works for you, and things have worked really well as you see the ice being taken care of here. They did some changing in the ice over the summertime. Some of the pipes had to be raised here, right near the visitors' bench in particular, about 3 inches. And so it is a fresh surface, and in uniformity, it will be the same thickness. A lot of water would settle where it was deepest. You know, at that shot, Pat looks like he's sitting, doesn't he? But he is standing behind the Canadiens bench, Pat Burns, who got a 4-year contract at the start of this season after getting the Canadiens in his rookie year to the Stanley Cup Finals. What a move by Ruuttu, and he nearly got by, but there'll be a penalty coming up to the Canadiens, and we'll get a stoppage of play. So 16 seconds into the power play, it ends for Montreal. They have the lead in the first period, 1-0. Now, Uwe Krupp flips one that is grabbed out of the air by Waugh, and then going down to the ice in front of him, Andreychuk.
Officially, the penalty to Chelios is called a trip. I don't know how Chelios found himself in the position to end up having to face Ruuttu with some speed going head-to-head at his own blue line, but Ruuttu made him look pretty silly. So the Montreal power play is negated. We're going to play even strength here for the next minute and 38 seconds, and then the Sabres will end up with a real short 16-second power play.
Montreal 4th overall, if you were to add up all 21 teams' point totals right now, and Buffalo 6th. Puck thrown right in on goal, and Rouen knocked that one down. Lefebvre able to deal it off. Krupp kept it alive, but turned it into Ryan Walter, and it just fed back to Svoboda. And Peter Svoboda with a fancy move there, still able to control. A minute and 20 seconds from now, the Sabres will get a 16-second power play. It is Krupp taking it away from Carbonneau. Uwe Krupp with a pass up the wing for Foligno, and he's just shouldered right down by Ryan Walter. Svoboda with a pass ahead now to Lefebvre. Tied up by Ramsey, and Lefebvre's pass was off from Walter, and then Walter given a little jolt by Foligno, just to make sure that the record is clean. Back ahead comes Ramsey, and he has, if one guy can do it, why not the other, right? A 360 Savardian move. Down at center, Svoboda goes back to get it. Svoboda is not going to try anything that fancy. He'll just lay it up to Richer and watch him go. Richer with Carbonneau moving to the front, but it went by Housley. Housley and Carbonneau cancel one another, and it's the Sabres outletting with Andreychuk back up the wing to play on to Anderson. His pass for Ruuttu, who tries to get by Daigneault, flicks one that's knocked down by Roy. Anderson a weak backhander as he was forced off by Lemieux. Now the puck loose and brought along by Ruuttu, trying to control from Richer. This is Jyrki Lemieux. 13:44 to go in the first period. His team leading in the game 1-0, but the Canadiens pressed back in their own zone by the Sabres. In 8 seconds, the Sabres will have that abbreviated 14-second power play. This is Housley bringing it on. Housley crossing with Mogilny, fires, and it ricocheted right behind Mogilny. It swung right back out, but away from Richer and gathered in and laid over by Ledyard. Now Phil Housley. 5 seconds left on the Sabres power play as it sent crisply on to Housley, then back ahead to Mogilny. Left it behind, and Housley tried to pump it along, but it's Jyrki Lemieux just jerking one around the boards behind, and it's taken by Daigneault. Drives it back along to Naslund. Teams are back at full strength. 13 minutes to go first period. Naslund in. Played for Corson, and the shot knocked down by Kennedy. Mogilny with some open ice. Moves it back up for Parker, but that was chipped from him, and Parker able to follow it up. He's got Arniel at the slot, but just throws it into the glove of Waugh, and he'll hold on. With the score, Canadiens 1, Buffalo 0. We now pause for a regional break.
The door was locked in the top.
In a year in which Montreal has seen a lot of injuries, they still have some injured players.
They sure do. Tom Shorsky is out tonight with an injury. Mike Misty is still on the shelf. Brian Skurlin and Claude Lemieux had the abdominal surgery yesterday. He is not supposed to go near a pair of skates for at least 2 months. That gives him at least a month to rehab after. So most of the hockey season will be gone by the time number 32 of the Canadiens is ready to get back.
Arniel couldn't receive that pass, thrown off by Chelios. Then Parker given a hit by Bobby Smith. Help came from Chelios along to Keane. Boy, the Sabres just all over him. And the puck rolled right around in front by Parker. Had to be dealt with by Waugh. And now it is Chelios. Back up to Matt Naslund. Now he's got his line going. With a toss ahead for Bobby Smith. Paddled away by Rob Ray. Back is kicked near Arniel, but it'll be gathered in by Dean Kennedy. Kennedy matched up on defense with Ledyard. Passes to him, and out it comes to Parker. A pass too far up the wing for Arniel, and Craig Ludwig gets it. Now Parker, cannon shot. Oh, he didn't get much of it, but Roy did. Now it's Kennedy once again. Rolling one along, Arniel is able to tap it further. Ray pressed to the boards by Chelios. Pivoting with this now and bringing it back up ice is Bobby Smith. Smith watched by Ledyard as he tries to weave his way in. Smith just dumps one into Ledyard. Naslund trying to follow up, and it came loose in the slot. Svoboda peels away, takes a look, around in front, and he couldn't get it through Malarchuk. You could just see things misfiring all around Clint Malarchuk as the Sabres were not coming up with it once it had been tossed into Ledyard.
One thing the Sabres do, and that's not a good play right there. You saw one of the Sabres dive for that puck as if Svoboda was going to shoot it. But the Sabres under Dudley will tend to sag back in and really support their defense and their goaltenders a little too much at times. If Montreal really can read that situation, they're going to be able to use their point men a lot tonight, and they've got some firepower back there. They've got some youth with Daniel with a good shot, Chelios with the big cannon. So as the Sabres crowd back in to try and support Malarchuk, the Canadiens can use their point men.
Puck hit back out to center ice. Foligno can't reach. I wonder if we're seeing sort of renaissance in defense in Buffalo, as we are in New York with the Rangers this year, and as we saw last year with the Vancouver Canucks, because the Sabres were 10th in team defense last year, and already this year they have moved right up in Montreal's category. Montreal first, and the Sabres are third. Carbonneau kicks this one along, watched by Andreychuk. Puck turned back out now to Courtnall, moving along with Walter and Svoboda, and he drops it to Peter Svoboda. Tied up by Ramsey as Svoboda just kicked to the boards and knocked down by Ramsey. Andreychuk there as the Sabres outman but can't clear. Walter holding, just nudged by Andreychuk, who from a prone position still trying to control. Walter back over for Courtnall, and it is Uwe Krupp with a pass just behind Turgeon, off Lefebvre and down. So this is a live puck as it flips along by Lefebvre, dealt right through the legs of Andreychuk and followed up by Sean Anderson. 10:44 to go first period, 1-0 to score, Montreal ahead. We have a stoppage of play and Anderson finds it.
If you want to sell your home in and around the Palm Beach County area for top dollar without paying an enormous commission, doing a bunch of renovations.
Whistle had blown, stopping play, and the Sabres were changing, but now they regroup. We'll return to the forum in just a moment. The lone goal in the game, Naslund from Smith and Keane at 2:59. It is Brent Gilchrist with Jocelyn, Lemieux, and Peterson. That is the line out for the Canadiens right now. Puck escaped along the far boards, but it's brought right back up ice again. Bringing it on is Snuggerud, flipped one in front, and it went underneath McGuire and right in on goal as McGuire was checked by Lume. Now it's dumped along for Gilchrist. Gilchrist spun along by Snuggerud, and all the way back down it goes where it can be handled by Malarchuk. A little tap along for Housley. Wiping out is Jocelyn Lemieux, but it's Housley bumping it along to McGuire. So that one back checked away by Peterson. Boy, we have the back checkers out here now. You can hardly get a couple of strides out there with the puck without having someone right on you. This is Daniel with a good shoulder check that time on McGuire. Puck came right back to him though. McGuire held up along the boards, and so it comes to Snuggerud. Dropped back for McGuire. Lume knocked down by McGuire, but it's Peterson for the Canadiens giving it up to Ledyard. Wrist shot. Oh, and a tricky one through a moving screen, but it was blocked off by Waugh. Gilchrist bumps it back ahead for Jocelyn Lemieux. Flips it further for Gilchrist. And Gilchrist dumps one that is blocked away by Malarchuk and picked up by Kennedy. Kennedy passes on the money to Ledyard. He starts it ahead for McGuire, but it went away from Lume. He regathers, and the Sabres make a complete change, bringing out Ruuttu. Ruuttu and Mogilny, and also out on the wing is Rick Vaive. Pass is checked away by Vaive. It's tapped along by Kennedy, but followed up by Richer. Kennedy tries again, and Corson knocks it free. They try to get it to Richer, but Kennedy intercedes, and around the boards it is brought back up by Ledyard. Advances a pass to Ruuttu. Looks for Vaive up the wing. Ruuttu controls. Nice move. Got it to Mogilny, but not much real estate there. Ruuttu again just flung one off of Corson, and it is Svoboda. Giving it up to Mogilny. Trying to move to the front, but it was poked off his stick by Svoboda, who